Well, that's all right. I mean, we wouldn't want to ruin the surprise anyways. I mean, after all, I did get a nice gift for Annie.
Oh, come on, Joe. Don't do this, man.
I think she's gonna love it.
Don't go in my house, dude. Joe, listen to me. Listen to me, man. Back up, dude.
Is that guilt? Is that turning into rage? Oh, you are angry, aren't you? You are fired up. Ooh. Is that blood boiling? It should, because you know, like I know, your family is home right now.
Get away, Joe. Please, man, I'm begging you, bro. I'm begging you.
What's that rage feel like now? Is it turning to fear, AJ? Is it? Are you becoming paralyzed? Are you confused? Do you not know what to do? Are you falling to pieces? Good. And I want you to remember that feeling, because that is exactly how you will feel when I beat you for the WWE Championship in Australia. You denied me the WWE Championship. That's one thing. When you stole it from me, AJ, that demanded consequences.
Hey, man, I'm begging you, man. I'm begging you. Please.
But there's plenty of time for that.
Please, Joe, just walk away, man. Don't do anything stupid. Joe.
Do I just let myself in? No. That would be rude. I'll just ring the doorbell. Daddy's home.
Yeah, I'm on a run. Here I come. I'm with your mom on the track. If I come, I get the squeeze on the mob. I'm on a run, bitch. I just took off on the cops. Don't need a charm, bitch. I need a lawyer in rocks. I got the drum, bitch. Body connects on these dots. Yeah, I just like catch. Let me get New York paper tag today. When I've been in Coney, man, a rim, bitch. Bear, guess what the captain say? Chanel, she can get a little tad. Chanel, fuck around and drop a few bags today. I just might do the whole dash today. Might you believe I dash today. Nigga might crew through biscuits. Trapping out of Incontinental. Bitch can't bait my check clear. Bitch go to act like she trill. Baby try to trip me, I check. Nigga try to pull my red. All the niggas know it's take meds. Niggas stop taking my red. Woo! Some of these niggas don't tell the treat. I just sit back and smoke out a pound of weed. I got rollers galore, ain't no clowning me. I got voters with me speaking Chinese. I got fed up and throw a catastrophe. In the drop, nigga, my dog had on 10 key. Secret service, so everything is touchscreen.
All right. Welcome back to the A Show. This is our 49th episode.
A Show 49, baby. Come on, we here.
We've been doing this for
49 weeks.
49 weeks.
49 weeks, 49 episodes. Well, 49 main episodes. We've done a ton of other bonus content. Like, it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah. I'm in awe.
I'm in awe. This is the most committed thing that you've done outside of relationships. Got to be in your entire life.
I don't even think those last 49.
Oh my God. Listen, this is the most committed thing that you've ever done, man.
This might be the most committed thing you've ever done.
No, it's one of the most committed things I've I'm a guy who's like, I'm wired by like repetition. Like some people, I'm very, a lot of people say I'm wash and whack and all this other stuff. I see their point of view. I'm someone who like, when I was trying to lose weight, like I ate turkey sandwiches literally every day.
How big were you?
I was 232 pounds.
Aren't you that same weight now?
Hell no. So I was 232 pounds, and I was like, got out of college, ate like a shit ton during my last semester.
You gained the freshman 1,500.
I got 15 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I was like 232. I was like, I got out of a job, blah, 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 blah. I was 232 pounds. I looked terrible. I had one of those things where I went to a picnic and someone took like professional photos and I just looked like, I was like, yo, I'm so fucking fat. And I decided, boom, I'm gonna lose all this weight. I literally ate turkey sandwiches 5 days in a row, and the people at the bodega would be like, "You don't want something new?" I'm like, "Nah, just don't like. This is just what works right now."
Wow.
And I managed to get down to 185, which was like the lowest I'd been in like a long ass time, and I looked fucking amazing. Now I'm like 202 or 203 or something. I'm going on another weight loss binge like next month. So like October, I'm going to be super strict on my diet and super strict with these workouts and super strict with a lot of different things. So I'm going to do that. This is not a health podcast, by the way, but
you know who else is committed?
Who?
My dog to slobbering all over me at all times of the day.
Oh, you gotta be.
I'm currently wiping down Tech Fleece pants that he is just.
Do you feel like do you feel like you babied your dog to the point where it's like now he just can't not, if you're not around, it's like a problem?
Well, the thing with Migo is that like I am one of Migo's favorite people in the world. There's probably two favorite people in the world. It's Migo, it is my girlfriend. Or no, I'm sorry, it's me then my girlfriend. Right. Like he'll only listen to me. Or he'll listen to her mom. Okay. And he'll listen to both of us. He'll just like walk all over her. So like it's funny because like when I have the dog, it's like all he wants to do is lay down, like and just lay and like just chill next to me all day, all day long. If I move, he has to move. He's like my shadow,
right?
And you know what? Migo is committed. He's committed to his pops.
He's committed to you, man. It's like a chicken and like a chick in the hen. Like dude,
I can't even hug or like be affectionate because if that happens, he will literally run to me and be like, "What are you doing?" You can't have him.
He's gotta. So let's say you go away for 3 weeks or something.
I've never been away from him that long.
Let's say you were going away 3 weeks, you're going on vacation, and then you got business elsewhere, and then a whole bunch of things going on. And let's say your girlfriend's also doing that as well. You're going to have to put him in a daycare or with someone else.
He's going to cry, because that's what he does. He's a crybaby.
Oh, my God.
I don't know if you can hear him currently licking me right now.
No, I can't, but I imagine.
He knows I'm talking about him.
Well, listen, this is all part of life. I'm sure it's like...
He'd remember me, though. He would be so excited. Like, if I leave him for a day, it's almost like he hasn't seen me in a year.
Oh, my God.
And
that's real. This is very, like... Now I have anxiety for you in terms of your separation of what could potentially happen.
Well, he had it at first. Now I have it.
Okay.
Like, if I'm away from him for a day, I'm, like, looking at pictures... I'm looking at pictures from when he was a kid and he was like a little bit younger, and it's really sad. I've become a sad dog. Like
you become a very dog person.
Yeah.
Listen, I've just finished watching former TV dad, now YouTube dad Will Smith jump out a fucking plane.
Will Smith will sell you something, huh? He'll fucking sell you something.
YouTube has thrown him the bag. If the movies aren't working, my man said we're doing YouTube now, because YouTube, Instagram, every social media has pretty much thrown him a bag and he's a YouTube original. That's what he's called. He's like, so he just had his 50th birthday, like got to be like 24 hours ago or 2 days ago or something. So they filmed him jumping out of a plane for his 50th birthday.
Yeah.
It is the most, it has 8.8. Well, now it has 9.1 million views over the last 48 days. No, like the last like 24 hours.
Okay. I was about to say like that's big, but it's still relatively low.
Yeah. It's at 10 million for the last 24 hours. The man's a YouTube sensation at this point. Like it's a thing.
Do you think that Will Smith will show up in a WWE event soon?
No.
Okay.
I feel like
he's done worse.
But he's carefully learning from your Late Fees podcast. The man is very particular about the things that he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Late Fees. We're doing Wes Craven.
Beautiful. This week, next week?
Next week.
All right, cool. All right, we'll go back and listen to the Late Fees from last week about Jim Carrey.
I just watched Jordan Devlin versus Walter.
Ooh, okay.
It's free on OTT Wrestling's YouTube account. It's a spectacular match. The opening package, though, deserves a lot of praise because it's one of the best opening packages I've seen in a very long time. And I'm not counting WWE in that. We already know they cornered the market on that. But as far as this goes, like for an indie like this, and it's a European indie, it's like the production value is like off the charts for that.
I'm gonna put this on my watch later, so I'll probably get to this after I get to like a Joe Budden podcast or something.
Yes, I love how we share the RNC podcast and we all take turns listening to that podcast.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but I'm the one rewinding it to the beginning every time.
You know why? It's all right. So we're all on the RNC radio account and Spotify. So Joe Budden's on Spotify, and that's really all you can do it now. So I'll be trying to listen as soon as it come out, and then it'll say like Ty was listening, and I'm like, Ty, come on, you gotta like be shitting me. Like I'm trying to listen to it, and it stops and goes back, and I'm just like, oh my god. And at some point, I think Huey and Mark were also trying to listen to it at the same time.
Oh, that's crazy. That's just crazy. We need to have designated days and hours for when people can listen to this podcast.
I've given up on the RNC account. I just listened to it on my account. I was just like, fuck it, I'm signing out. Like I could not for a second like manage to listen to it. And it's a 3-hour podcast. At some point in this 3-hour window, someone's gonna jump in and want to listen to this shit. So it's like you do or you don't.
So yes, we are 1 week away from A Show 50. Yeah, we have guests lined up. I believe around 4 or 5.
Okay.
We have a lot of special guests tuning in and joining us for the 50th episode of our show. It's going to be monumental. It's going to be a longer show than usual because, of course, we're going to have conversations with people on there.
It'll be the week of Super Showdown too.
Yes, it will.
So we're gonna have to cover all that jazz.
But what I was thinking is we always come with these ideas on the fly. Like, what if we had each guest talk with us about a specific? One guest we can't talk about it with. I'll say that much. But we'll have each guest talk about each thing that we would usually talk about, and it will be in the format of our show. And I think that'd be dope.
I'm down with it. You know. On the fly, flying off the cuff, you know.
A Show 50. This show, essentially, again, we like to say this a lot. It's the truth. The show was really like birthed out of randomness. I called you. You picked up, and we just started talking wrestling, and that's where it came from, you know. And I want to have all of the guests have that sort of mentality as well. But let's go ahead and get into No Holds Barred. We got kind of a stacked news show this week, more so than the regular shows.
Let's talk about it.
First thing up, this is probably like a really cool aside. WWE stock has hit $96. I am kicking myself right now for not getting the stocks earlier.
I felt like I bought the stock as a kid because in my economics class, they're like, we're going to teach you how to use stock. So buy a fake stock. And I bought WWE, and it was probably not even close to what it's worth now. Yeah, it's still, as of right now, as of 4:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on September 26th, it's $95.04.
Mm-hmm. It just goes to show. and on the other side of that, the Raw rating was the lowest it's been in the modern era this week.
Who cares about that, man? The stock is up.
I don't think anyone cares, you know? Like,
I don't think, you know why I know they don't care? Because essentially they haven't done the thing that they always do when they do care. Because usually when they care and they're like, yo, ratings are down, blah, 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 because they've already secured their, the additional years on the USA Network and, the Fox Sport, the Fox News, or the Fox channel, at least, with SmackDown moving next year. Usually in this sort of fashion, they would say, all right, we really need something to shake up the show. And that would include Vince McMahon showing up and possibly being murdered or killed or being dived off onto or being thrown through or whatever. Maybe Stephanie McMahon following the same suit. We haven't gotten that. We've had Stephanie showed up on Raw this week. It was her birthday. Shout out to the Queen. But we haven't really got that like major thing that would like save Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I don't think there's going to be one.
No, I don't think so either. And it's amazing because you look at, you're talking about this even last year, pictures of the audience at SmackDown. At this point, they taped off half of the arena.
Yeah, and I love people like pointing that out. I mean, sure, attendance, that doesn't mean. Well, I'm not sure. I don't have it in front of me. I'm not sure that attendance is low all across the board. Mm-hmm. But I think you think about that rating, and it's like Monday Night Football is back, so you already know, you already know that's
and it's a Tuesday, and it's a whole bunch of things. So there's a lot to consider. But I wouldn't say attendance is. But when you talk about the major shows, when you talk about the event they've made around SummerSlam, and I'm sure Survivor Series coming up in November will be an event as well. When you talk about NXT War Games and Survivor Series and the entire LA area, I think WWE is really going to go out for that as well. They're really hitting their stride with the major shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really think that, again, it comes down to, this stock really comes down to them really, since 2014, like we said in the episode, The Big Payback, it's really come down to Vince saying, oh, you said I can't do this? You said that it's not a good idea? You said the wrestling couldn't be mainstream? And he's proving it, ratings to me are like, all of the content that they put out, someone's watching it, and it's multiplying, Yeah, by leaps and bounds, and I think that the stock price really just proves that. Again, shout out to them for that. Next thing on the WWE docket, WWE signed Mia Yim.
Very about time. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, it's well deserved.
Is it?
I like Mia Yim. I feel like she's, you know what? I feel like you need people who genuinely you get behind. Right. And I feel like people genuinely get behind Mia Yim. I feel like people like Mia Yim. I think people recognize that she's been doing her thing for the past couple of years. And even if this isn't like the end all be all for her, this is a major point in her career where there will be considerable development, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen her match on Mae Young Classic. I'm doing a very terrible job of watching this show.
That's okay.
But I heard it was really good.
It's none of it has been the first episode for me yet, but the shows are moving along. I mean, this
episode should be really good coming up this week. I have to watch it before it comes on. You have Io Shirai making her debut in WWE tonight.
Oh. All right, that's enough for me to watch the 3 hour block of fucking wrestling,
which I really enjoy because they're all 1 hour shows.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoy that. Like I really like that idea. But shout out to Mia Yim, and then new period in her life where she's at the WWE. Speaking of new periods, and breaking records, Kofi Kingston broke a tag team championship record this week. And this is actually a really cool follow-up to what we talked about last week about his Hall of Fame prospects, right? When you say, I think that just say it. I called this, but anyway.
Kofi, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Billy Gunn was the previous record holder. Billy Gunn isn't going in twice.
But he did go in twice. DX.
But DX wasn't. He's not part of that DX. And first of all, I think did DX go into Hall of Fame? I thought it was like the Click or the NWO or some bullshit like that.
Was it the Click?
I don't think the DX has gone into the Hall of Fame.
Oh Lord, they're gonna be 60 doing the suck it chops.
I don't think DX has gone into the Hall of Fame. I think they were at the Hall of Fame. When
I can't remember. Like, not that it matters. Again, we are talking about a fake Hall of Fame record.
Sure.
But in the end, like 954 days is nothing to scoff at, No, and even if you're Billy Gunn, that's nothing to scoff at. Like
100%.
You've been a champion for at least more than half of your career at that point.
It's I think generally it when you have those sort of records, it kind of speaks to the versatility of a Kofi Kingston. Someone who's able to have, he's partners with CM Punk, R-Truth, Evan Bourne, Big E, Xavier Woods, and being able to excel with all of them just kind of shows pretty much the versatility and the talent that Kofi Kingston is. I think he's an amazing, just one of the most underrated people in the WWE currently.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to him. One thing I do want to talk about was Big E's tweet after it came out. Which I thought was really cool. He said Kofi Kingston has had the most days as a tag team champion in the history of WWE. Never failed a drug test, never had a brush-in with the law, always professional to the highest degree. Give this man his flowers while he can still smell them. I think I did that last week.
I think we should, shit. Maybe we do a Kofi Kingston episode. I don't know.
Bro, his top 5 stunts, top 5 matches. He's had some good matches. I don't think Kofi's ever had, well, as a single, I don't think he's probably ever had like a 4-star match to me, but I think as a tag, he's definitely done that. And
I think just in general, when it comes to his opponents and his partners and everything, everyone has really great things to say about him. I mean, he's had. There was a period where he was against Dolph Ziggler for like all the time, and it was him versus Dolph. It was him versus Alberto Del Rio. It's him versus etc. The Miz or something along those lines. He's had a lot of partners, and no one really has a bad thing to say about him. Even CM Punk retweeted or responded to Kofi Kingston's tweet thanking all of his partners.
Yeah, that's so dope. Man, that's dope. That's dope of him to do.
Yeah, I agree. Acknowledge it for Kofi. Kofi, is amazing.
He held it down for Punk for a while. He held it down. I know. I remember when Punk left, a lot of people were looking to Kofi to like explain it. Kofi's like, I don't know. I don't know. So.
I got a job.
I didn't want to talk about this next thing on the Raw recap because I feel as though it was really the most notable thing from the show and it extended past the show.
It might be the most notable thing of the week, quite honestly.
Yeah, it is. And if we're not talking about like Lacey Evans' quote unquote dinner,
a Lacey Evans special? No, sir.
Lacey Evans put a bird on a hubcap and fed it. She said she left it out there in the Orlando heat for 12 hours and fed it to her husband.
And got that Velveeta, baby. Come on.
And also and had the medley. That's what they call it, the medley of corn and green beans.
And I think she had a little croissant, little carbs, a little carb. That little carb action. I saw her. She was throwing it down.
The plate, wrestling edition.
And I am throwing it up. Oh my god.
What? There's a saying that we have when we say, how is it grilled but still wet? How was that steak grilled or whatever it was and still wet? Did she charbroil it?
I'm sure she's like, yo, it's juicy. It's just juicy. Like it's cooked. You know what? I shouldn't think because I can't cook that well, but I ain't showing it on the internet like that. Like, I'm not that proud.
You shouldn't do it. I remember Ember Moon had posted some brownies or some cupcakes she did, and Sasha, like, dragged her.
I made really good chicken last Thanksgiving, and I showed it.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. We were talking about it. Literally, we were doing the A show when you were doing it.
It was really good. So, I'll if I got that over her... that wet ass steak and that Velveeta shells, man.
you got to carry that.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, we're getting clearly kind of going off the topic here. I want to talk about the Liv Morgan Brie Bella debate. The Bella twins had a match against 2/3. No, it was a 3-way. It was a six woman tag match.
6-woman tag match.
The Bellas and Natalia versus the Riot Squad. There was a spot in the match. There were several spots, but
multiple.
I think the biggest spot that everyone's talking about at this point is, of course, Brie Bella completely clocking Liv Morgan in the face with 2 kicks that knocked her out cold, and they had to pretty much audible and do the match with 2-on-3 at that point. Really one of the biggest sticking points. It again raised up the injury debate. It raised up the women debate. It raised up the safety debate again.
The Brie Bella debate, apparently.
The Bella twins debate on both sides. There are people that say, it's wrestling and it happens. I feel you. I feel that as well. I do think a modicum of concern has to be on Brie Bella, though. I think she's been off since she came back. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is an isolated incident. She clocked. I pointed out to someone that she clocked Miz and gave him a shiner immediately. What was it? A month ago?
Yeah. A couple weeks to a month ago. Yeah. Brie Bella. First of all, this is professional wrestling, and I do 100% believe injuries happen. I mean, they happen everywhere. This is talking from, we've had freak injuries happen all of the time. This one, I think, with just on how everything happened with her not looking where she's kicking.
Yeah.
Could have been avoided a little bit better, because I think she would have probably noticed in sort of the timing of Liv Morgan putting her head down and her not really just kicking her into nowhere.
Yeah, she kicked the shit. Like, shouts to Liv for doing a suplex spot that she really wasn't supposed to do. And WWE has since said that she suffered a concussion.
I have a problem with that. I mean, I probably wouldn't have had a problem with that 10 years ago, but I sure do have a problem with that. And just the fact that someone let her. I mean, in this sort of era and this temperature, and, you know, you're just coming out of that CM Punk case with the doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was actually the same doctor. It kind of looked like Dr. Amen. I'm not sure. But you don't have, no matter what, you don't have Liv Morgan run back into that ring. I don't care. When I saw immediately when she got knocked out, she was gone and didn't get back up. And they tried a little bit, you know, just so they can connect spots. Her, you know, Brie, to push Brie in the corner so she can make the tag, but she was out like a light.
Right. And I mean, I like that she did roll out. They did pull an audible and a commercial break, I believe, in between that. And the match didn't get better from there. I mean, to be clear, it didn't get better from there. I think it threw everyone off. There was a weird spot where she, again, legit bust Ruby right in her face with a forearm. And
Ruby's like, "Yo, what was?"
No, Ruby literally said, "Really?" I heard it. You can hear it when she does it. She's like, "Really? Like, you know, seriously?" I'm
sure Brie Bella has a lot to think about this. The internet is a very cruel place.
Yeah, so. And it was a weird situation for the E as well, because they had to. I don't know who did the thing. Who had the thought of allowing the Bellas to put a tweet out saying that they were thinking about Liv before they ever even said or diagnosed her with a concussion, which TMZ released literally the morning after.
I think the apology in itself, I think the apology is just kind of.
Do you think they were forced to do it by social media? Because they're on it all the time.
What do you mean? Like forced to do it by the WWE or forced to do it?
I think that they pulled their hand early because they saw the social media backlash.
Yeah, I 100% believe that, because they were getting, at least Brie was getting a lot of backlash.
And a lot of like articles that were like, you know, destroying her. Like cage side seats, someone put a side-by-side of like whenever men injure men. But when Brie did it, it was like a completely like different vibe when she did it. And you know, you got to point these types of things out, because I think really right now, wrestling journalism is in a very weird space because there is a push for it to be more legitimate. Mm-hmm. And it can be more legitimate. And I feel as though that type of reporting would never happen in NBA or
any other sort of thing.
Yeah. But the thing is with this weird, with, you know, wrestling journalism, of course it's a work, you know, but you're still able to, there are things within that ring that are not a work, you know? And it's, you know, Seth injuring Sting is about as, even though you can say on both sides, you know, things happen, it might have been about as reckless as what Brie did and reported that way. You know, like there is a very, and you know, from a lot of people online, that there's a very big contingent that want this type of reporting to be legitimate and they want it to be fair. And I think a lot of wrestling journalists get really too much in their feelings and they tend to report on opinion instead of fact. And that's just one thing. That's one of the first things you learn. But again, a lot of these guys didn't go to school for this. No, so you don't know guys.
That. It's just, you know, it's an unfortunate situation. I hope really the best for Liv, because that did not look great in any sort of match. And I'm watching. I'm like, oh, she's gone. Yeah. And the first thing that came into my mind, I was scared for like half a second. The first thing that comes to my mind is, remember it was like sometime last year, maybe even a year before that, in Mexico, and it was Rey Mysterio in a tag match, and he dropped to hold some guy into the ropes, and like the guy is dead, and he does a 619, and I think the guy had already died at that point, but it was just something like that because the way her body just kind of like went loose. I was like, oh my God, it could be some sort of severe impact.
That was That was Paraguayo Jr. who passed.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because I was like, yo, the way her body went limp, I was kind of very, very scared for her. So I'm kind of glad that she's at least alive. But it's a shit.
Do you think the debate is overblown?
Yeah, I do. I think don't get me wrong, there needs to be. I think Brie Bella, while she has been botching a lot more. She
has been a threat to not just other people. She's been a threat. Literally, she almost hurt herself. It's scary. I'm just saying it is very scary to see. I think that I don't think she needs to be taken off the shows or anything. I just think that don't let her do these spots. I would be fine if she was just the one that did the roll up and did a cool little spot. I'm not saying take away the yes kicks. That was obviously a freak accident, but there's some type of care that has to be given. And I would say that for anybody that's had a reputation for this. If you want to go maybe a year or two back, Asuka was knocking everybody out before she really before she toned it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's a big fact.
She was knocking out. Remember, she knocked out Dana Brooke, and
and Dana got injured, and a whole bunch of other things. So it's definitely something that happens in professional wrestling. It's all unfortunate. I think with Brie Bella, it definitely needs, because I do remember lambasting her 2 weeks ago for that suicide dive.
Yeah.
I think there definitely needs to be a lot more thought that goes into it. I think she's not necessarily. I think she's kind of running off of, I've been wrestling for 10 years. It's kind of how it goes. But I think there definitely needs to be, a lot more understanding of what you're doing in the ring before you actually do it.
Absolutely.
And taking, making sure you're aware at all times. The last thing you want to do in professional wrestling is hurt somebody, as they even said in their apology. But you have to be way more careful when you do these things. And it probably sucks coming from a million of fans who have never wrestled a day in their life.
Yeah.
Including myself. Right, including myself. But at some point, it's you got to understand you have to take carelessness can lead to something way more fatal. And it's, just shout out to Liv Morgan, and hopefully she's doing better.
Hopefully. What does concern me is that Super Showdown is next Saturday. Usually the time off that they take for people that are under the concussion protocol is about 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So you might be looking at a very big change to that card by Monday if they don't clear her, because I don't think they'll even let her fly there.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you can't really let her fly there either.
But hopefully this debate doesn't cloud my freaking timeline all week. It looks like it's finally gone down a little bit, but just tell us what you think about the debate on our Twitter accounts, and we'll join in the discussion. The next news point, HBK. Remember we said that he was going after the Saudi bag. Now it looks to be more than just a Saudi bag. He's being rumored for Survivor Series, a one-on-one match between The Undertaker and HBK. One more time.
I don't believe that, but I just don't. But maybe I should. I don't know. That would seem very weird. That he's suddenly back in the mix.
Why is it weird?
For what? What do you have to prove?
I mean, he's gonna get his win. There's nothing wrong with that.
I just feel but what does he really have to prove? What is he? Where is this? He's going, he's having these matches, he's having these string of matches. Leave it as the attraction that it is. I don't think it really needs to happen at Survivor Series. Now, granted, Survivor Series needs a big match because, Brock Lesnar is no longer, in the WWE. That sort of attraction that they had previously is no longer here, but there's nothing really left to prove. I mean, I wouldn't even start doing that. I think it's at that point, it becomes, when you do it for this, the crown jewel, and you do it for Super Showdown, it's an attraction. It's an attraction for fans who don't normally see it. When you do it for Survivor Series, it becomes a whole different thing where it's an attraction, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary the way it is for the other two shows.
I got a feeling that you don't want HBK to come back at all.
I really don't. I'm good. I've been good with the last 9 to 10 years of him just not wrestling. And I thought it was very cool that he held up to his agreement, because he's kind of in professional wrestling, what are really retirements? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trish Stratus retired in 2006, and she's wrestling, in a couple weeks, and she's wrestled on WrestleManias after she's retired. Ric Flair, we don't even need to. Enough said.
Well, they don't count them in the WWE.
Right, and the only other one is Stone Cold, and Stone Cold really just doesn't because he
can't.
I think at this point he can. I think he realizes there's no way he's going to. I think he's very hard on himself and realizes he's not going to perform at the level that he would like to. So he just doesn't. He doesn't want to get in the ring like that Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon match at like WrestleMania 26. That was like terrible.
Yeah.
I just had to say it. It was terrible. But it's I think he just knows he can't compete at that same level, especially at 50 plus years old.
Oh no! But I mean, I think that Sean could. I'm not adverse to the idea of HBK.
If he comes back, he comes back. I'm not adverse to it either. I just don't think he should.
Well, I mean, it's looking like it's going to probably be set in stone. I think Crown Jewel is definitely going to happen. I think he's going to get involved in some way in the Super Showdown next week. So be ready for that. I think Triple H is getting his win back thanks to Sean. I'm kind of mixed feelings about it. I'm not saying I'm against it. Shawn Michaels is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Right.
I would never, say no Shawn, no come back. But I do think that if he's going to come back, I just don't want it to be Undertaker. I feel like you're going to come back for that? Like, I just feel like there's so many things that he could be doing other than wrestling the Undertaker right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Our last point, I believe, today. Oh yes, I know this is y'all world stuff. This is my world shit.
This is definitely your world.
The New Japan Long Beach show. The card was announced this week. It is absolutely awful. I don't know who is going to this show in Long Beach. I really pray for you. I hope that the tag matches are to your standards. But right now, the biggest singles match on that card is probably Cody and Juice Robinson, and then Will Ospreay, Marty Scurll for the 100th time.
Yeah.
You're like not into it at all.
Nah, I'm
the
not.
Main event, the main event isn't even a title match. It is the Golden Lovers versus Ishii and Okada, who, if you guys haven't been following, Okada is now out of the group of Chaos. He was ousted by Jay White and Gedo, who basically beat the crap out of him last Saturday during the show. And a pretty good angle. I thought a pretty good show. I thought Tanahashi Okada was probably like the lesser of their 10,000 matches that they've had. But I thought it was still a really good match. But I mean, you're not continuing any storylines on these shows. It seems like a glorified house show, but it will be televised, I believe, and it will be on New Japan World. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it, but that I'll be watching Fighting Spirit Unleashed, of course, with everybody else, though. I know you're not watching it. I know you're not watching it.
Yeah. Let me know if something popping happens.
Just what? Oh my gosh!
I can't watch it. I'm gonna be out.
Oh wow! On Sunday? I thought you said Sunday. You were good.
Oh, this is Sunday.
Yeah, it's on Sunday. This is a pay-per-view. We get a pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll watch it. Yeah, why not?
I
got nothing going on Sunday.
But yeah, let's move into Raw and SmackDown. First up, Raw. I thought a show that had a really good through line as far as the storyline for the whole show, but not much really happened this week on Raw.
I wasn't feeling Raw. I just wasn't. Even the Shield potentially picking up storyline kind of just felt like, all right, were we really doing this? They just got back together.
And they're not going to do it yet.
Yeah, and yes, it looks completely weird that Roman Reigns is a Universal Champion and Seth Rollins is Intercontinental Champion, and the only belt that Dean has is holding up his pants. But it just seemed like oh, we're doing this as to like maybe a shock and awe type of deal. I wasn't really feeling it.
Well, the thing that I do like is that the seeds are being planted, and it gives Dean a storyline. I think that a lot of times people will agree with this. Dean doesn't do well in non-Shield storylines. Like, I just don't think he gets people to care about him in non-Shield storylines. I think even his title run was kind of like snake bit by the fact that he didn't have any. No, he was on SmackDown on an island on his own. He was doing his own thing there. But It gives him a storyline. I don't think it'll give him a belt. I think it probably eventually will. I'm not sure. Who's to say at this point? But at least the seeds, you can say that they were planted in September, and whenever, whether it be November, December, January, when he finally snaps, you'll see that was a reason. And I think that that's cool. And I think that even having Drew and Seth have their little conversation, which is weird because these guys have been like beating the shit out of each other for the past month. And now they're just walking up to each other in backstage like, hey, what's up? Let's
and
talk.
have casual conversations like with normal coworkers. Like, oh my God. I'll say this Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, I mean, it's gone through multiple iterations at this point, but for me, it's just like, yo, this is going on way too long.
Feud of the year?
Hell no. Nah, just no. But yeah, they planted the seeds for the Shield thing. I don't know if it's necessary right now, especially when it's like, it would have just been cool just to have the six-man tag. Just do that. Like, what are we?
Which I thought was a dope match. AOP finally get put in the main event. I thought that was really cool. I really love the way they eventually integrate NXT or the people that they feel as though are worth something on NXT into the shows. And I thought it was a really great match.
I would have been happy if AOP won, but I mean, not a lot of people are beating the Shield, quite honestly.
No, they don't need to beat the Shield. Not yet, at least. I think they should. I think really next week we should have Seth and Dean against AOP. I think that would really raise their stake.
Put them in a gauntlet match.
Have Dean be the one taking the pinfalls too, because if you realize he's the one that's losing a lot on the team also. Drew beat him.
Interesting.
Like have Dean be the one taking the falls there. One thing I did like about this and SmackDown this week was that they're integrating the mixed match challenge into the main roster. So a lot of the partnerships and pairs you see on that show are actually pairs on the actual main roster shows, and I really like that synergy.
I like it. I think at some point they realized we can't sell this Facebook show without people
go watch it after the main roster show.
Yeah, because the matches for the last mixed match challenges were just happening, and you get a little YouTube or camera phone promo during the show, and that'd be it. But now since they're incorporating it, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. It could be entertaining, but
this week you had Finn with Bailey with against Jinder with Alicia. I'm pretty sure you'll have the opposite there next week. But I mean, obviously they're able to do this a lot easier.
Teams.
I really like the Boss Club. I really, but Sasha's injured, and you can't really do that. You can't go back to it again.
We got Country Dominance with Bobby Lashley and Mickey James.
Why did they not do Mickey Bobby? Are they afraid of copyright?
Yeah, I think they probably are. It's like, let's not even touch it.
What a bunch of sissies.
Yeah, really.
What a bunch of sissies. Again, the next point in Raw, Lio Rush steals the show again. Do you think the WWE should officially move him up and have him on the Raw roster?
I think yes, but also I'm sure he's not minding the 2 checks.
Well, he's got to travel a lot more because he was on 205 Live the night after. And
you travel 2 days out of the week. You be straight. Like everyone else travels 5. He gets the 2. It's not like they're having 205 lives on WWE house shows like that. And if they aren't featuring Lio Rush. I'll tell you that right now. But I mean, I think he's doing amazing. I think 205 Live gives his character an extra little bit of context, so people will be able to look at it, and then when he eventually hits the ring on Monday nights, it'll be a big deal. I'm not sure if do you think he'll actually wrestle against a Kevin Owens or Elias? Because
I think that really
he does look like a child a little bit.
He does, but it's like I don't want them to continue. I think he's doing great with the promos. I'll say that. One thing I'm concerned about is that, like, and I've tweeted this, it's like the way they have him running and the way they have him looking against these 2 guys, it's like I feel as though like if he hits one of them, his hit's gonna bounce off and he's gonna grab his hand and say that it hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
He's a 57 overall or something in the game. And it's true. It's like I really like the acrobats stuff, but it's like I'm really tired of seeing him run. And I'm like, if he's not running against cruiserweights on 205 Live, why should he be running against 245-pound people? It's just 30 extra pounds.
You say that, but men are just picking him up like insane. And I don't think Kevin Owens is 235 pounds. I don't want to break it to you. But, yeah, because people will legitimately break him in half on Monday Night Raw. This isn't 205 Live where, he's able to get some jabs off on Noam Dar because they both weigh about the same thing. Like, this is Monday Night Raw, so I guess the moves hurt more. You know what? His character is amazing. He talks. He's entertaining.
Elias.
I would love to see. I mean, he really stays on Raw, and I think he appreciates the double checks.
I would love to see him with a red Chiron instead of a purple Chiron. Like, I think that he deserves it. I think that they see a lot in him. Obviously, I just think that I feel like there's probably two schools of thought in the backstage area where it's like, should we have Leo do actual offense against these guys? Should he have a match, or should he just be a manager? And I think that's the problem that they face when they have these 205 guys actually come to the main roster and do things like that, because the second manager you have on that show is Drew Maverick, and he doesn't wrestle anyway. So there's no argument there,
Yeah.
So it's like it's going to become like a slippery slope where it's like, do you only see these 205 guys as like not jokes, but like managers? Like they're not good enough to hang with the Raw guys, and you run into the same issue that you had before when the guys were on the show, where it's like, okay, they don't even interact with the Raw guys.
I think if Leo Rush is going to wrestle on Monday Night Raw, he's going to have to bulk up at some point. He really is.
That might be as bulked as he can get, bro.
Nah, I mean, well, I hope not. But it's he might have to bulk up a little bit more, similar to how Daniel Bryan did when he, and then since he's been wrestling on the main roster, he bulks up a little bit because it hurts, man. Everything hurts. Yeah,
Leo Rush, definitely. We'll see what happens with the 23-year-old piece of gold. What's going to happen when he's 24? He can't be a 23-year-old piece of gold. He's going to be like a 24-year-old.
He's pretty good at this, so I'll leave the rhyming to him.
One thing I want to touch on, and I feel as though they do this bigger on Raw than they do on SmackDown, and we'll talk about the card in general. What do you feel about the Super Showdown build as right now? Because now they've added a second show that they have to talk about building up to. And Crown Jewel, and a lot of like Braun Strowman's talking about Crown Jewel, and he's not talking about Super Showdown. It's like it's so many shows. Do you feel as though they've adequately built the show to feel like an important thing?
I don't think they have to. I really do think this is kind of like a house show. I don't want to break down anyone's hopes, especially considering the last one was kind of like a house show. I think really this one is also there's actual stakes on this show that affect the main show, and it's more to do with. It's more to do with SmackDown than it has anything to do with Raw, because the Raw matches really just seem like, and there's way more SmackDown matches on this card than Raw matches. But,
SmackDown lit, baby.
Yeah. But it's, from the Raw perspective, it kind of really just seems like a house show. It really just does. I don't expect any titles to change or anything really.
And so on SmackDown side, this would be like their No Mercy card.
Yeah, pretty much.
To be honest, it would be their No Mercy card. Let's go into SmackDown. Speaking of them, excellent show this week. Really love this show. Every single week, I look forward to watching SmackDown, and every single week, I am not disappointed by what I get. They have such a great usage of all the people on there. And it's crazy, like a very big intangible that you can't, like, I don't think people really realize is that the performers look like they're having a great time on the show.
Absolutely,
and it shows.
It's the way they've done this is just incredible. It's like, gosh, just that opening segment, really.
Yeah, really. And let's get into the opening segment. Truth TV, born 2018, died 2018.
I mean, it had a good run. Quite honestly, listen. It had a good run. It really did. It really did.
I think that Truth, the Fabulous Truth, whoever came up with that, they deserve an Emmy. Stroke of genius. I don't know how, because the thing that was crazy, and we talked about this like a week or so ago, they turned Carmella and didn't say that they turned Carmella, and I think that is beautiful.
And she didn't change a thing except the color of her hair.
Exactly. She changed nothing about herself. She only changed due to the proximity that she had to a character. I think that is a testament to who she has become. Because literally, the moment that she said, "I don't like Lana," she was a face right there. Right. And I thought that was Maurice. I'm sorry, you're right. Or Maurice. Like, I thought that was really a great moment, and she did a great job here because he now has a valet that can also wrestle and that has chops behind her. She was a former women's champion, so it raises true stakes.
She's had experience, managing and valeting for big cast events.
Absolutely.
So she's really kind of is a very versatile performer when you now think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love this segment. Daniel Bryan came out, The Miz came out. It's really great interplay between all of them. Listen, whoever is doing the Daniel Bryan storyline, okay, excellent job. There's no storyline that I can say in the past couple of years that have had so many detours that have worked, but this one. And
right,
I think
it's paced very well.
Yeah, like you're insane to think that you don't enjoy the chase right now. Like we're at the beginning of the chase here, and I think the ups and downs of Daniel Bryan's storyline really fits his character. And like, I really feel like imagine thinking Daniel Bryan was wasted when he was just getting his water legs back with Big Cass and he was kind of doubting himself. Then he jumps right back into the Miz. And then it's like, there's going to be something big after this because there's so many detours for him to get to the championship that when it finally happens, you can make a DVD out of this run.
Just like that.
Like quickly. Like I think it's really, really great. I really like this. No actual physical stuff from Daniel Bryan this episode, which is fine. No Almas on the show either, which is completely okay. I don't think anyone mentioned that either. But one thing we did have, and what I do think Daniel Bryan's going to be facing pretty soon, if not immediately after a Super Showdown, Randy Orton picked his next target, and that was Ty Dillinger.
I mean, they shocked us with that because I had known you could have.
We couldn't come up. We couldn't come up with one last week. I think we mentioned Tide. We were like, nah,
no way. I mean, but there he is. I mean, the man showed up. He attacked Ty Dillinger. Who knew Ty Dillinger would be wrestling on SmackDown? God, that's a coincidence.
They utilize everyone. They really utilize everybody on that show.
You know what? I'm not mad for Ty Dillinger. I don't think the match would be particularly something I would want to see. But I think just the opportunity in itself, especially for Ty Dillinger, who in NXT managed to evolve in such a natural baby face, is having this type of program. I'm interested to see kind of where they go, because while we're looking at this as a potential program in the future, I mean, you got to look at the other program that they've sort of been building as well between Aiden English and Rusev, and kind of what they're doing with Aiden now to sort of take it to the next level. Right. I mean, you have a feud between former tag team partners. This could have, and one was obviously the lesser, which is Aiden English, and one is Rusev. This could have easily been like a Miz versus Miz Dow, a Miz versus, I forgot his name, Alex Riley. Alex Riley. It could have easily been one of those. It's just like, they're former tag team partners who don't get along, and now they break up, and the bigger guy is going to continue doing what he's doing, and the smaller guy is going to continue what he's doing. And maybe it could still continue to that, but they're making such an effort with Aiden English and giving him this sort of, it's like a very smarmy kind of
cocky, almost
cocky, but then what they introduced on SmackDown is kind of like a skeezy undertone,
Yeah, I really liked. I'm concerned. I will say I do not think they should go with the Lana cheated angle. I don't think that's cool. I think that's very Attitude Era.
Sure,
but if it's a complete work and he's like trying to fool Rusev, I think that's a cool way to do it. But it's like, if you're going to do that, don't play Rusev as an idiot trying to figure out the last time he was in Milwaukee. Play Rusev as, change his character a little bit to someone who's actually upset.
Well, so apparently fans on Twitter may have gotten a hint of what happened in Milwaukee.
What happened?
And this might take you back. 2016, January 25th. The Rock returned to Monday Night Raw and had an interaction with Lana. And he said that he taught Lana the Wisconsin wheelbarrow in this promo. Do you remember that promo?
Yes, I do. I saw that tweet, I believe.
Listen, I mean, if SmackDown writers are weaving this into the show, I'm giving them, my hats are off for using just weaving this because I missed this. But if they manage to add that in, props to them. But it probably is a coincidence at this point. I don't know. They probably added in. I mean, people have noticed it at some point. But I'm interested to see. I mean, you're interested to see what Aiden English has to say. And when have you ever been interested in what Aiden English has to say?
You love him. You're like Aiden Hive. Like
I'm a fan of utilizing talent when you know they're talented and playing to their strengths. That's what I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of him. I've always been a fan of Rusev, and I felt like they didn't play up to the strengths enough. And now we sort of are a lot of just the underdog talent. I feel like, even Chad Gable to an extent, he's on Monday Night Raw kind of doing his like weird thing.
AKA in a program with Bobby Roode. That's a weird thing now.
He's doing this weird thing, but you're giving these characters an opportunity, and that's kind of what they need. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, so and so," and you'll have Road Dogg going back and forth on Twitter like these people will have their opportunity. Then give them a chance. Give them a chance to fail, and then you won't ever have to, dispute them again. It took Naomi 8 years for her to at least have one chance. Right. And the chance that she had when she put that glow gimmick together and she managed to get all the fans, now she's golden for the rest of her, I would like to think the rest of her career. Yeah. Just based off of those moments. So I'm just saying, give Aiden English these sort of moments. You never know what kind of star you could come up with.
I'll wait and see next week whether I'm concerned with where he's going or not. I really just hope they don't go that sleazy angle.
He could be filet mignon, or he could be that Velveeta cheese shit that was on that plate. Who knows?
Oh my god! But I thought, really effective promo, really effective segment on the show, and it actually kind of weaved into the next segment, which I really love that SmackDown does. They have these transitions and these kind of like linking segments that match. Yeah. And she had a match with Becky, and Becky comes out and says, "Milwaukee, huh?" And it's the greatest shit ever to me. And during the match, obviously Becky and Lana had a non-title match, and Becky's like, "I'll send you back to Milwaukee." And I'm like, wow, bro. Wow. Like,
and they're doing Milwaukee chants and everything.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I thought it was, again, a really effective segment that kind of helped Becky, who earlier in the day had beat up Charlotte during a photo shoot, and kind of explained why Charlotte wasn't on the show, and it then gave her more fire for her match later on the night. So we're on Becky watch every single week. What did you think about Becky this week? Where are you laying towards her?
I thought it was phenomenal. Really, yeah. I thought it was just a great use. She seems kind of like, the photo shoot thing was dick move. It's just.
Yeah, it's a dick move, but then during her actual match, she doesn't cheat or anything to win. Yeah. She's just better. She's just better than Lana. It's reminding me of AJ the heel. When before he had that last match against Cena and he finally turned. It's reminding me of that.
I don't know. I can't explain the photo shoot thing. The photo shoot thing.
Yeah, I can't either. It's heelish. It's night and day. You call it spade a spade. It's a heelish move.
Yeah, but the people love it.
People love her. Like she is literally stone cold Becky Lynch, man. I love it. Long live the queen, the real queen, brother.
The real queen. Let's see where it goes.
And finally on SmackDown, do you want to touch on the Naomi Asuka thing? I think they're cool. I'm waiting to see where that goes.
I love Naomi and Asuka. So
yeah,
that's all I gotta say. Shout out to Iconics. Iconics getting a chance in Melbourne. They're on Super Showdown card. It's going to be the Iconics versus Asuka and Naomi. And
I pray.
Quite honestly, on commentary, it showed me why people, I guess, ran up to them to try to interview them, because they're entertaining. They seem like a good time.
They're great. I was starstruck. I was in love. Not even gonna lie.
Listen.
Not even gonna lie. I was in love. I love them. I don't even know them. But finally on SmackDown, we got the home invasion we were finally waiting for, in one of the most disturbing segments since the Wyatt compound being burned by Randy Orton.
Shout out to AJ for obviously responding to a taped video. And
yeah, that's my house, man. That's my house, man. I'm begging you, Joe. I'm begging you, Joe.
Yo, stop. And Joe's continuing going on his spiel, and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute. Come on. Let's talk about this."
Joe, get out of my house, Joe. Don't do it, Joe. Joe, don't burn my religion jeans, Joe.
Oh my God. So Samoa Joe, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, quite honestly.
We thought it was gonna happen too.
I mean, in terms of everything, this is incredible.
Joe shows up, front door of the Styles residence, and you know it's the Styles residence because it has their name in big white letters on their mailbox. So
the Styles, baby.
So you already know it's the Styles family. So he shows up. He has a doll.
The ABC family, Styles.
He has a doll for his daughter, and right before he goes in, I can't do the promo justice. I'll just say that.
No, I mean at this point no one can, but it's a very sinister, creepy. If you from watching SmackDown out of context, it seems very creepy. In context, this is the lengths that Joe will go to. That sort of mental manipulation, whether he actually means it or not, whether he wants Wendy or not, he wants the WWE Championship, and he wants to do that by psychologically getting into the head of AJ Styles. I'm sure he knows he can beat him, but to psychologically break him down, it just makes him that much easier, and he really wants the WWE Championship.
And I think it matters more that he's facing a challenge that is more psychological than even Nakamura gave him. Even even Jinder Mahal gave him back in the day, or even Kevin Owens and all those guys. Like I think that it's really like kind of pulling full circle the big good guy face routine for AJ Styles, and I think he's doing a great job with it. Even though the acting in that final segment wasn't really like the greatest to me, but I think Joe's really carrying this. And I mean, I would love for down the line Joe to at least get like a 3 to 4 month reign. I think that'd be really cool. It might not be here, but maybe a little bit later down the line.
I feel like it's definitely going to be down the line. Yeah, I mean, it was a good way to close the show. I'm interested to see where they kind of go from here. I'm not a super fan of these, like, obviously 3 pay-per-view, 3 match, 3 month program type of feuds, because I think WWE has done them for God knows just the rest of our lives.
AJ going 3-0.
Yeah, especially
AJ going 3-0 is wild.
Retain 3 times. Yeah. Like, it's kind of wild to think. Like, I would have rather him lost the first one and then retain 2 times later. Like, or retain on the 3rd try, just so that they could at least shake it up a little bit. But
they want to have the concurrent reign. I think it's going to end.
I mean, he could have lost it and then won it back and still been on the cover of the damn game. Like, I mean, he's on the cover of the game. What do you want? Like,
he's got to be the champion for all the press, man. He's got to have the belt, brother. He's got to have the belt. I don't think they've had was Brock the champ when he was on the cover?
Probably. The man was champion for 800 million days. Like,
because Seth wasn't. Seth was like whatever. So SmackDown's a great show, and I think that's where we end this week. I know we have a lot coming up next week on A Show 50.
Yep.
But I think we should end it right here, just so that we can prepare. We have a lot of stuff coming up next week. We have a lot of stuff coming up on RNC. We've just announced a new podcast with Ampavelli, a friend of the show. We're friends of his show as well. He's coming out with Random Acts of Podcast Gaming. He's coming out next month on the RNC Radio network, and I'm really excited about that. I know we've been waiting to work together for a really long time, so stay tuned for details on that. Of course, we're gonna let you know everything that comes down the pipeline there. Meelz, anything else you want to push?
I don't know how you tweet during the show. I can't even read during
multitask. I've been doing a lot of stuff with Migo right now as we've been talking. I've been literally telling him, "Come here, come here."
I don't know how you do it. You're incredible. 49 shows. Been blasted doing with you. Cannot wait for 50.
For 50, I'm thinking of a cool idea to do for the opening of 50. So stay tuned to that. Thanks for this journey. We'll see you on the other side of 50. And 2 weeks after that, we have our year show. We have our year. It's been a year of us doing this show. So stay tuned for that as well.
Yeah.
We're the goats, man. We are the fucking goats, and no one can stop it. As always, thanks for all the support that you guys have given us for the show. Follow us at RNC Radio Live, at OG Johnny 5, and at Meelz TV. That is MEELZ TV. Until next time, we'll see you on 50.
Happy Rusev Day.
Is it Happy Rusev Day anymore?
It's not Happy Aiden Day. I'm not cheering for that, motherfucker. It's Milwaukee. God, ugh.
Happy Milwaukee Day.
What are you doing in Milwaukee?
Happy Milwaukee Day. Happy Rusev Day. We'll see you guys next week on the A Show. Peace.